Thank you. I'm Denise Dimon. I'm the Associate Provost for International Affairs at the University of San Diego and a professor of economics. And I've worked at the University of San Diego for a little over 35 years. That's probably quite different than some of the career paths that many of you are going to have working for the same place, because most people change jobs and now change careers several times. But I must say, I never really thought I was always doing the same job at the university. The university was growing. It's an entrepreneurial place. Things can develop. You can take advantage of opportunities, and you can create opportunities. Because sometimes your job is what you make it. So, but, after 35 plus years, you can't help but start thinking, what kind of impact have I made? Have I realized some of my career goals? Have I had an impact in any way? And these are really very similar to some of the questions that many of the younger people here might be asking themselves as they're looking forward to their future. What are they going to become? What kind of impact are they going to have? How can they be of service? And let me tell you, asking these questions is something that you'll continue to do all your life, whether you're looking forward or looking backward. And actually, I never even thought I would become a university professor. I was in graduate school. I was studying economics, studying economic development, international trade. And I kind of thought after I finished my doctorate, I would work for an international organization or a think tank where I might be involved with emerging markets, helping develop economies, eliminating poverty, having an impact. Well, sometimes life takes a turn. And as I was finishing my degree, by that time I was married, I had a daughter, and I had an opportunity to go and interview at the University of San Diego. My family lived in, my parents and extended family lived in California. So the idea of being closer to family at that time in my life was very important. So I went to the university and I had my interview. And sometimes when important things, impactful things happen in your life, you often might remember very important details about the event. Like, if something's important to you, you might even remember what the room was like, who was sitting there, maybe what was sitting on the table, maybe even what you might have been wearing. And that's what it was like for me after I was interviewing at the University of San Diego. As part of my interview process, I was interviewed, as all faculty were at that time, by our vice president and provost, Sister Sally Fury. She was a religious who was a lawyer, had a PhD from Stanford, a very impressive woman. And so my interview continued, we finished, I left. And then after the interview, I got to thinking, well, she didn't even ask me about myself. I didn't even share anything. What she talked to me about was the University of San Diego and what its mission was, and how joining that community, one would be helping develop individuals holistically. And they would be contributing to helping students find their place in the world and how they might make an impact. But at the same time, as a faculty member, teaching, doing research, we could also be improving society. Well, I was really sold after that interview. And it wasn't even just that I was sold on academia, I was sold on the University of San Diego. But maybe after 35 plus years, you can't help but sometimes be a little bit reflective of what your contributions have been. And so recently, I was in our new mission and ministry building, where we have these giant murals that are floor to ceiling. And I mean, it's a high ceiling in this building. And as you can see, these are very important people from across time, gender, nationalities, faith traditions that have all had an impact, and because they have actually dedicated their lives to others. So it was very impressive, kind of a little bit moving, but at the same time, it was sort of humbling because you see all these great holy people in front of you that have done so much, and you wonder, what have I done? But of course, that is not the point of it, to compare yourself to people who have dedicated their lives to others. What you really need to be thinking about is how maybe have you taken a little piece of what those people have offered and how you have embodied that in what you do in your community, in your neighborhood, in your family, in your place of worship, and in where you work. What kind of an impact do you have? So, as we listen to our alumni here this evening, who hopefully have taken a little bit of the University of San Diego with them on their journeys, where they have faced risk, uncertainty, navigated across cultures and countries, where they have put themselves out of their comfort zones, but at the same time have done so with a lot of integrity and have helped to improve others' lives and make the world a better place to actually be global change makers. So thank you.